was not including a sense of financial security
No.
whatsoever. And that's why I think a lot of our family and friends were like, you guys are crazy. Like, there's just in no way that you're considering leaving your jobs. Welcome back to Recap. We're so excited to go through the naming of our agency, first client stories, all that jazz.
Literally early stages, how we got started, how we quit our full-time job, like the process behind that and building out our team. Let's start with maybe just the story behind our branding, our name. Honestly, there's so much behind that. Like, we were so inspired when we started, building out the company, and the first client reached out to us that we were like, all right, let's, stay up till 6 a.m. Let's go over this. Let's just draft anything that comes to mind. And honestly, we did so much research. We were coming up with like crazy things.
We had a document of over 60 viable options for agency names.
Some questionable ones.
Listen, those are going straight into the archives. I swear when we
Insert here.
Yeah. But I think we really landed on the RE because we were trying to figure out what kind of services we would be offering. And that was when we realized, like, what stage are we coming into a brand? Are they a startup? Do they already exist? Have they, been running for 10 years, 2 years? Right. And we realized that no matter what stage we're coming into, we are going to be redoing something along the lines of branding, social media strategy, digital marketing strategy, even digital footprint. We need to backtrack, relay out a strategy, and then go in. And that's when we were like, there's a theme here. Yeah.
And we were also really focusing on finding something sustainable because back then we weren't sure, like, if we were starting out with a certain service, if we were gonna, go in a different route. So RE really gave us that like opportunity to kind of like switch from one thing to the other whenever we needed to. Another really important factor was including creativity or creative in our name somehow, because everything or anything that we do has to be creative. Like, creativity is always a part of what we do. So just
it would be pretty bizarre if it wasn't.
Right. So just having marketing there was like a little boring, just like, very, I don't know, mainstream. So that's why we wanted something that really kind of like talked to how we do things, which is very different to any other agency in our opinion. Very personalized, very like niche, very creative.
Yeah. I'd say our approach to every client obviously encompasses everything about the word creative, so it was a great fit. I also think that moving into expanding our services down the line, we didn't know exactly where we were going to start out with this or where we would potentially end up in 10 years from now. But we knew that the Recreative brand would be able to be fluid enough to go into any direction of the marketing industry.
To literally grow with us and adapt into whatever, service we want to expand into.
Our story about our first client was definitely
a
memorable one.
It's something.
We were asked to do a range of services for our first client, and that included content creation for socials, a photo shoot, and building out an influencer and collaboration funnel. And this was, that part of our journey where we were like, yes, we will take this on and we will figure it out along the way.
Yeah, that was like, we were really in a very big yes mindset, taking on any opportunity that presented itself. So when we started this out, we were like, we will figure it out. No, we're not photographers. No, we're not graphic designers. And no, we had not done an influencer funnel like in this scale before.
Yeah, this was a big company. They had about 30,000 followers, and for us, that was like a big step up.
For sure.
I think it's important that we mention the little drive that we took for the photography. situation.
Yeah. Let's start there and then we'll go into...
Because first things first, they needed photo content for us to get into the rest of the services we had offered them. We didn't own a camera.
So how do we do this?
So we didn't own a camera and we're not photographers, and we didn't meet any photographers yet at this point. Yeah. Nor did we have the budget to even hire one.
Right. Like, the project did not have the budget to hire one for sure.
So we literally looked at each other and we were like, where can we get a camera? We don't have the money to like buy a brand new one from the store. We got in the car. We drove from Miami to my parents' house in Boca. Rummaged through their house and found a Nikon camera. It was a professional camera from our tourist days. Brought it all the way back to Brickell and sat on YouTube for maybe 4 hours learning the different settings.
I have a flashback of like your dad just asking like, what are you guys doing with it?
He was like, just bring it back in one piece, please.
We're like, don't worry about it. We're getting content.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
And we figured out how to use the camera
after watching a long YouTube video because it is quite complicated to use a camera like
Shout out all photographers because you guys are so talented. And I also want to preface by saying like that is such a difficult thing in itself. Oh my God. Set design, understanding how to use a camera.
The lighting is everything.
Lighting is everything.
We did not know that, and the way pictures were coming out at first, we were like, wait a second, like something's off.
Full panic attack moment where we were like, this is not happening
the way we say yes.
Yeah, this is not happening the way we envisioned it to, and we're not going to be able to deliver for this client. So we shifted pace very quickly, and we went out on the balcony and we set up an entire set design with props from around the apartment, and we made that shit happen.
I mean, close your eyes. Picture us outside in the balcony, really, really hot summer, like Miami time, and we're just like literally there for 6 hours.
Yeah, we were out there all day.
All day long, just getting
for 12 photos. It was 12 photos. It would have taken a professional photographer an hour to do. But moving on, that was our first experience, like really, really struggling to figure out what we're doing.
Humbling, but we got it done.
I think we really became yes girls after that because we figured it out. We delivered to the client and they were like, okay, great. Listen, they weren't giving us like rounds of applause or anything, but they were definitely like, this works, this will do. It's great for the ad creatives that they needed. And then we were like, you know what? We figured that out and we delivered, and I wonder what else we can teach ourselves how to do and really just go into that. We very quickly became yes girls.
I think that you and I were giving each other the confidence that we needed, you know, to just kind of like be okay with taking more clients and with really like taking this on as a very serious thing. And that's where the conversation started happening about taking on new clients and new opportunities that were actually like, you know, more serious. I wouldn't say the first one wasn't serious. It was just, you know, kind of like the start, and
it landed in our lap.
Right, like
it very much landed in our lap, that opportunity. And from there we were like, we can pursue this full force, and we actually started pitching people from there.
Right.
I think that gaining trust from clients when you are a brand new company is very difficult. You don't have a full portfolio to show, so we offered services for free. And we really grinded through a lot of sacrifices to build up that portfolio. We were pitching family, friends, neighbors. We pitched our neighbor who moved in.
Oh my God.
Literally moved in.
Who didn't we pitch?
Who didn't we pitch? But our neighbor moved in a week ago. And we fully were like, hey, we own a marketing agency. You own a business. What can we do for you? That is how you have to build your portfolio. That is the real situation and reality of building a business.
It's how you start in anything, and you know, you just gotta like have that background and have that to kind of like present and talk for you.
I'd say that pitching was also something very new to us. We were both in different positions before where we weren't ever in sales or, you know, speaking to business owners. That's not something that we're necessarily accustomed to.
Right.
I think pitching ourselves was finding out the root problem of a brand that we're approaching and just being like, we are your solution. Whatever your budget is, whatever you need, you're looking at the answer. And I think that's how we got a lot of people to just be like, all right, I'll give you guys a shot. It was also that confidence. Like, we were very persuasive, and people were like, are you sure? Do you have a background in this? You're also both very young. We were 22 at the time.
Very young.
And people were just questioning us, but I'd say having the confidence and being so persuasive was the key.
As soon as we got a couple of clients like saying yes, and just being our first clients, we started having the conversation about, okay, should we leave our full-time job? Should we take the leap? Like, what are we doing?
But I think it's really important to mention at this point that, like, we weren't making enough money that it was a conversation of like, okay, we actually might be comfortable enough to leave and, do this full time. It was like, we have been doing things for a major discount. We've been doing things essentially for free at this point, but we have this Rolodex of clients in our portfolio that we know this will work.
Right.
And we know that when we start charging the prices of real agencies, that this will be successful. So when we started to consider leaving our jobs, it was not including a sense of financial security whatsoever. And that's why I think a lot of our family and friends were like, you guys are crazy. Like, there's just in no way that you're considering leaving your jobs. I mean, for me, my family, I sat them down at dinner and they were just like, you have a job at a big 4 firm, you're making great money, you've been there for a little over a year, great network. I don't understand why you would even consider risking losing something like that for something that you and your roommate essentially are doing out of your house. Like, they're also not used to work from home, so that whole concept was a little bizarre to them as well.
Yeah.
So we had a conversation, and that's where we started to figure out we have the confidence in our skill set, not as graphic designers, not as content creators, but as business owners.
Period.
That this was going to happen for us. And you know what Maria always says?
What? Say it.
Delulu is the Salulu. And she was like, we're going to be delusional as about this, and it is going to work.
Yeah.
And we looked at each other and we were like, let everyone call us crazy.
And to quote Izzy, she always would say, there's no space for this to not work.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, fine. She's like, there's just zero space for failure here. And there wasn't. There was no space
It was serious. We're both living in an apartment.
What were we going to do?
We have to pay for it. It's not like one of us had a job and could cover it. It's like, if we both failed, we're getting evicted.
We used to make so many homeless jokes. And thank God we did, because it got us here. And we kept going.
We pushed ourselves for sure. We bullied ourselves into this.
Yeah.
But that was when we really were like, who's quitting first? Because the first person to quit made this real. Like, that's when we were like, you know what?
I was in a kind of like a space where I wanted new things. I was doing the influencer marketing stuff for almost 2 years as well. So I was ready to take on more brands and less influencer collaborations on that end. And that's when I literally sat myself down and I was like, Maria, if you quit, you have to commit. Like, this is happening. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be the first one to quit. I got to do this, and like, we're going to kill it. I called my mom and I was like, what do you think? And my mom was like, that's scary as and I was like, yes,
you guys are crazy.
Yes, but I really believe in it. And she was like, then do it. Because she was like, I believed in myself when she did what she did. And that was the only thing that like carried me through. So if you believe in this strongly, then go for it. And I did.
Yeah, I'd say it took me a little bit longer. I did really like my job, and I really did like the team that I was learning so much from. So it was a little more difficult. Also, I couldn't like abandon them during the holidays. I would have felt like such a dick. So I waited a little bit longer, but it really got to the point where our agency started
to grow
and I was like crying every day, like, I cannot do both anymore. And I told my boss, like, I'm leaving. And she was like, why what am I supposed to say? I can't say that I was like building a business while I was also working for them. That's psychotic. She would have been like, huh? She would have been like, what? Well, it's out there now, so
right.
I did say that I was just like pursuing my own thing and whatever, and I did keep in touch with her, and I let her know that we started our own agency.
Oh, that's so nice.
She is so happy for us. But
I do remember sitting on that kitchen, like, you know, writing emails, whatever. Izzy has like her office all the way in the back, or I guess in the front.
Yeah.
And I would just scream like, "Hey, are you busy?" She's like, "No, what's up? Can I read you this email?"
Yep.
And I would just read it.
And I'm like in a muted Zoom, like with this whole company, and I'm just like, yeah, sounds great.
And I'm like, sent.
We were so codependent on each other. Can we talk about that for a second?
Please.
Not a single message, email, phone call went out without both of us like attached at the hip, being like, yes, like send that. That looks good. Anything that I would draft, I'm like, Maria, please read this. Anything that she was going to text someone, like, we needed to have each other's approval, and that is what built so much trust between us.
I was just going to say.
Because we're telepathic.
Just going to say, I think living together really, really helped the business in every sense. We actually did everything. Forget about the business. We did everything together, from grocery shop to cook.
I mean, if she had to pee while we're eating, I'm like, I'm going to go pee too.
If one of us had to pee, we're like, okay, same.
Like, be right back.
Yeah.
Pee
like,
break.
Breakfast, I'll make the eggs, I'll cut the veggies. Like,
I'm going to wash, you'll dry. Like, we became Siamese twins. I mean, I think this is like a commonality about like through like women relationships, when you're just like around your friend for so long, like you sync up in every way. We were in sync. Every time we were in a meeting, we were like having the same thoughts. We would like text each other under the counter, like kicking each other to say yes to certain things. And we'd always be aligned. Yeah. I think half of that is luck, and half of that is just like, we're meant to be.
Right. But it is luck, because it's so hard to find someone that can be your best friend and also set everything apart to take shit seriously in business and make decisions and make calls. And like, me trusting her when I'm not around, her trusting me when she's not around, that takes a lot. And I think we should do an episode on this, honestly.
Like building trust.
Because it is everything for the success of your business. Having the right partner is everything.
Yes. And I will say, a lot of questions that we got when we did mention that we were starting this together was, are you guys sure you want to risk your friendship to start a business together?
But what did we say when we started Recca? We were like, no matter what happens, we are not jeopardizing our friendship for anything.
Like, if this starts getting weird, we cut it.
Right.
Because like, nothing's more important than like our friendship at the core. Right. So yeah, we did make an agreement, like verbal agreement.
In our hearts.
In our hearts. We were like, if anything gets weird, we're calling this quits. Yeah. I'm so grateful that like nothing ever did.
Alright, we can hug now.
Yeah. But like finding each other's strengths and weaknesses was also a huge part of building that trust, because we both can't do everything.
And also recognizing that we can't do everything. Yeah. Like me going to you and saying like, I am not the best at writing this. Like, I need your help copywriting the shit out of this. Yeah. Like, how do we go from here?
And literally like managing the girls, like speaking to
it was a constant like, you do this, I do that. Like, you take care of this, I take care of that. And then also, I think at one point that evolved into, all right, now let me show you how to do this. Let me show you how to do that, so that we can coexist in that as well.
I'll also say that our dynamic is very important. We are the same at the core, but I think our personalities and our attitudes and our approaches to things are very different. I'd say I learned so much from Maria about, you know, having to really just like set emotions aside in business and just maybe not reacting too quickly or aggressively, because that can, you know, that is my initial reaction to certain things. So learning from her how to do that.
Same thing on my end. Like, I have an issue saying no in many ways. And she also taught me how to set boundaries in so many ways. With clients, with how I approach like services, even in pitching, like there was so much that we bounced out of each other.
Oh my God, pitching at first was really tough.
It was hard.
I will say, like,
It was hard.
I did feel like in the beginning, like pitching, I felt a lot of pressure on me.
For sure.
It was a lot of like, I will say this, I have the gift of gab, and we both recognize that very quickly, like, the quick responses to, like, I don't know what the fuck they're asking.
I don't know where she pulls it out of. Like, I'm like, and she's like, and I'm like, okay, yes. What she said.
But I will say, like,
and you need someone like that in your team. If you don't have that, you're
go find someone. But it was really tough at first because we both did recognize, like, the dynamic that we had when we were pitching people. Like, it was maybe better that, like, I handle it, like, head on in these types of conversations because I don't take no for an answer.
She really doesn't.
And it was
sorry
just
for you. Anyone out there.
So it was like
some of the things I have to thank you for sure.
No, but same with you. Like, we literally wouldn't be here without our strengths playing to our advantage.
Like, and going into maybe like hiring and building a team, like when we first started, I was doing a lot of like finding these girls, like interviewing them, like just getting a sense of, you know, what we're trying to find, because we weren't like 100% sure of what roles to fit.
Right.
And like what we needed. So it was a lot of like finding out like what worked best for us.
100%. And I think that you also recognized a lot of strengths in people. Like, we would interview someone together and she's like, I have a vision for this person here and you gotta trust me on this. Do it. And let's do it.
When we started, we had one graphic designer and just you and I for like 4 or 5 months straight. And then at one point we looked at each other and we were like,
we may need more team members.
We need to expand. Like, we just got 3 clients out of nowhere. Like, how did this happen? We need to hire more people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we started, like, building our team. And to this day, we can proudly say we have around 8 team members, so many partners, so many other people we work with, like collaborators.
We have like 14 in total, including our partners. And then we have 8 full-time Reka team members. So it's been amazing. I think hiring cycles is going to be another episode because I really do want to get deep into like how we kind of managed to figure that out. Yeah, and how
we built that, because it shifted a lot. We started here and then we recognized new holes and, you know, things we needed. And
to this day, we're building our team structure. Yeah. We changed like the hierarchy of positions on a weekly basis because we're just now figuring out like what type of person we need on the team, where they fit into, who they answer to, and what is like the flow of communication within our team.
And now that we have a lot of people with us, like we can actually talk to them and say, you know, how do you feel? What do you think we're missing? Like, how can we help you do a better job? And that's helped us a lot recognize, wow, they really need a person to do X.
Yeah, I think that's also been one of my favorite things that we just recently started doing in the past couple of months. Like, we check in, we prioritize the relationships that everyone has working together. Tell us the dynamic, tell us how you think people are performing here, where are the strengths, where are the weaknesses, and the team has grown so much closer and stronger because we include them in these conversations. Yeah. We have one-on-ones, we have group conversations, we have account manager conversations, we have just chats with the graphic design team. We are constantly getting feedback on the structure that we have implemented, like the whole team works on Monday.com, the whole team works on Canva. Yeah. How's everyone interacting there? Is there something we could do better?
Right. And being so transparent with them about that has also helped them be super connected and collaborative with each other. And that's ultimately the goal and what we want. We want them to like trust each other just like we trust each other.
Yeah, they also started like kind of feeling more comfortable giving suggestions of how they think things can work better. Yeah. And that's how you grow.
Like throwing ideas out there, like no idea is wrong. Like just put it out there and maybe, you know, maybe it works out. Maybe it is something that we're looking for. Like you just want to communicate things, and I think communication is a really big one for us.
I think one of the things that we most recently did was the vision board project for 2025.
Love that.
We really wanted to think of a way to get everybody's visions for the agency and themselves in their career out in the open, shared with the team, and also so that they feel like they have a part of the growth that we're experiencing.
Because they do.
They do.
Really do.
A lot of them have been here since nearly the beginning. They've been through a lot of transformative, steps along the way, and they have seen just in the past 4 months how much we've taken off. And we constantly attribute that to our team. They know that. Yeah. So we sat down during one of our Monday meetings and we were like, listen, later in the month, we're going to have a vision board project. Everybody create a mood board of how they see the company going in 2025, how they see themselves at the company next year, and anything that they want to see from us. They killed it.
We found out so many things that we didn't even know they were actually thinking about. Like, they came up with things that they want to work on, clients that they're looking to get for us, like
courses they want to take to improve their skills in certain areas.
It was just great to see. Like,
we hung up that call and we called each other and we were literally teary-eyed. We were screaming. Like, I can't believe that we have just created this group that's so passionate about what they do.
And this amazing environment, because honestly they all had kind of like the same feedback for us, and like they were looking to expand in similar ways, which tells us that we're doing something right.
Yeah. And, it kind of pushes us to go into maybe that part of the business we haven't
We were like, so how can we make this happen? But we'll leave that for another episode.
Yes. Join us for the next episode. We're going to get a little bit more into that, and also lessons we've learned through our journey, the ups and the downs.
All of it.
So follow us on social media, subscribe to the YouTube, and we can't wait to see you in 2 Wednesdays.
Bye.